He's a businessman in the public service, but now Glenn Zingarino is concerned about the future of South Carolina House District 94. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Glenn one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Glenn Zingarino, it's so good to meet you.
Good to meet you, sir.
I appreciate this. So here we sit. It's 4 weeks out, and you are a business owner of your own financial firm. And now you're looking at running for House District 94.
Correct.
Which is currently held by State Representative Katie Harrington, who's running for Congress. Tell me why Glenn Zingarino, why now?
An excellent question. I don't think there's ever a perfect time to run for political office. I think it's all based on whether you yourself have a desire within you to do it. So there is no perfect time, but I've always been in community service, always served the public, and felt that what better way to be a public servant than to be elected by the public.
Let me go to the Somerville Journal Scene article, and it reads this. Zingarino moved to Somerville from New York in February 2016, and since then, he said, he's met many other people from the Northeast and Upper Midwest who left their home states for the same reasons. Too much government regulation and taxes.
Mm-hmm.
How much is government involved with regulations, and how many taxes do we have right now in your mind?
Well, the government right now that we have in Columbia is woefully insufficient. Insofar that they not only lack experience in certain areas, but they are paralyzed to make decisions, the right decisions, simply because I believe that they are in bed with many different special interest groups, etc. They are looking to pass their own individual agendas other than the ones that they ran on, that the people voted for them to be in office for them to pass legislation that the people themselves wanted. And subsequently, if you look at the state of South Carolina, we have a lot of things that need to be addressed financially. Okay. State retirement system, infrastructure, business license fees, local government funding, all of these things, and of course the debacle of SCE&G and the nuclear power plants.
Right.
So these are things that are all linchpins to the future of South Carolina. And the way I relate that to New York and the Midwest is that I lived through government that was oppressive, where people could not find good jobs or buy homes, young couples could not survive. And many people have migrated from those areas to here in South Carolina to escape that.
Why South Carolina?
South Carolina offers a lot of good things to people. First and foremost, if you are a religious person, South Carolina, Charleston, known as the Holy City, offers a great deal of spirituality. The people are very friendly, very outgoing and accommodating. But it also offers a lot of things that people like in their lifestyle. Mountains to the north, coastlines to the south, resort areas, all types of resort areas where you can play golf, tennis, etc. Right. But also a good quality of life in the sense that economically people can afford it. Taxes are not out of control right now, although perhaps long-term residents would think that, but if they compare that to where I came from, this is a very, very low-cost area to live in return for all the beauty that we have.
Yes, indeed. And the article goes on to say this. Zingarino said fixing the state retirement system will require a combination of approaches, including moving younger workers to a 401k style plan, increasing contributions, and perhaps adding a sales tax. What else?
Well, let's define that a little bit. Decades ago, corporate America switched their traditional pension plans to what's called the 401k. And they did that because in their wisdom, they saw that decades out, they were going to have an enormous problem in paying these underfunded pensions and literally would put their businesses out of business. Well, government is no different, and government across the country is suffering in that same manner, particularly here in South Carolina. The state retirement system is antiquated, it is underfunded. Some people project it's $24 billion, some say it's as high as $59 billion. The fact that they don't have a clear estimate as to what it is tells you there's a problem right there. So my answer is very simple. We need to switch to a 401k system, not only for new employees, but for current employees as well. Just to make it very brief and for people to understand that retirees right now get the average of the last 3 years of their income to a high rate of 90% payout at retirement for some employees. This is unsustainable. We cannot have this because our children and our grandchildren will be paying debt for decades to come. What we need to do is change to a 401k style system, and rewrite, by the way, the state retirement plan in the state government, and by doing so, have employees contribute to their own plans. This allows them more portability, more control, and actually to gain more financially in the long run by having control of their own money. If we move the retirement plan down from a 90% payout to 50% for current employees and let them make up the difference with a 401k, not only will they also make more money, but it will save the taxpayers money in trying to pay down this debt. And unfortunately, government wants this paid off immediately. To pay it off immediately, you have to raise taxes. There's no need to pay it off immediately because we're already paying the tax debt to pay down the pension. Keep it the way it is. What needs to be changed is the structure of the system, not the amount of time that it's paid out.
But then how would you walk through that red tape in Colombia?
It's very simple. You make that obvious to those who don't know that it's a very obvious solution. Colombia, remember now, is made up of people that either don't know what's going on or do know what's going on but don't want to do anything about it because they want to maintain the status quo. They have an axe to grind with people that have supported them, etc. You have to build coalitions. You have to build a consensus of people around you with logical thoughts and ideas. And at the end of the day, you have to present that to your constituents. And in this case, not just District 94, but to the entire state of South Carolina, so that people are educated, understand what's going on, know the answers to the problems they face, and they ultimately will vote on whether those changes should take place, not government.
You talk about those constituents, you talk about District 94. When you go out and talk to them one-on-one, what are they talking about? What are their needs in your mind?
A lot of things that you would imagine to be so, which are infrastructure issues, the state retirement system, business license fees, taxes, but infrastructure is the main problem. And infrastructure is more than what you see every day when you're out driving. Of course, you see the heavy traffic going and coming from work, but infrastructure includes our ports, our harbors, our drinking water, open space, parklands, drainage, anything, runoff, anything that consists of material matter in the state is a matter of infrastructure, and it has to be addressed. And again, we are underfunded in many areas. In many areas, the roads are not built adequately, or there are no roads at all. In terms of drinking water, we are going to have an $18 billion need for drinking water in the next several years because we're growing at a rate of 45 people a day here in the Low Country. 70% of the Low Country now, according to the Chamber of Commerce statistic, is made up of people from out of state, not native from South Carolina. Now, I must say that even though that's true, we have to maintain the culture, the history, and the beauty of South Carolina. That's why we moved here, and perhaps that answers your previous question as to why South Carolina. We cannot abandon the beauty of this state, the history and the culture. It has to be embraced, but we also have to move ahead with the times and look forward to the future and make sure that not only native-born people, but people that moved here recently have an opportunity to succeed economically. We all pay taxes here. We raise our children and our grandchildren here, so we can all call ourselves South Carolinians. It doesn't matter if you've been here 2 years, a lifetime, or somewhere in between. We're all South Carolinians.
That's so true. And in the article it says this: Zingarino is the CEO of the Centurion Financial Group, a financial advisory firm. In his press release, Zingarino says he is, quote, a true conservative Republican. He says he's not a part of a family dynasty, that is, and doesn't hold a current elected office that I was recently elected to, using it as a stepstone to a greater office. Let me reset. Who is Glenn Zingarino?
Who is Glenn Zingarino? Well, I'm, as it says there, a financial advisor. I had been so for over 30 years, mostly in New York and the New England area. Came down here 2 years ago, was retired, and decided to dabble once again in my previous industry. I have 3 grown daughters that are absolutely beautiful, wonderful young ladies. I'm a person who is involved in public service. I believe in public service. I believe in giving back to the community. And that is what my desire is, especially in running for this particular office. I want to give back to people. I want people to voice their opinions, talk about what problems exist. Let's have open conversation about the things that are affecting people, and then let's go to work and do the hard work necessary to solve the problems that we have. Now, I don't want it all to sound like it's a sour environment, if you will. We have a lot of good things here. We also have to work on maintaining the good things that we have. But the problems can creep up on us and cause major financial catastrophes for our children and grandchildren in the future.
Glenn Zingarino, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Likewise.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Okay.